Good evening and welcome to Office Hours. I am the Professor. This is the second video of my series on learning the Ket language of Central Siberia. Now, as you might know, Ket is a very interesting language, and there's a lot of great information on it on the internet, especially regarding its potential link with the Na-Dene language family of North America. Similar to how the Indo-European languages are related, and we discussed that a little in my other videos. But this isn't going to be a video series about that as much. This is a video series about learning the language in the way that you would learn French or Spanish at school. I'm learning Ket, and this is going to be my record of an attempt to learn a radically different language from my own. That said, let's begin with our first vocabulary lesson. The first thing I'd like to do is talk about how we introduce ourselves. Now, the Ket people traditionally don't really have words for things like hello and goodbye and thank you, which really, I mean, yeah, it's still throwing me for a loop. I mean, I keep asking my professor, well, don't they say something like this or like this? And he says, no, they really don't. And so I guess that's a cultural difference that we have with these people. But hopefully, if I continue to study the language, I can maybe become more proficient in understanding the culture as well. So, the first thing we want to do is introduce ourselves. So if I want to ask you, what is your name? I'm going to say, and I'm going to hold these index cards up to the camera. Hopefully, you'll be able to see them. Uk-i-bila. Uk-i-bila. And that translates to your name, bila, what? So your name, what? What is your name? Okay, good. And if I want to say, oh, well, my name is the Professor, I need to cover part of this card because it gives away my real name. But I say, op-i Professor. So op-i is op, my, e, as we remember, is name. So, the second thing we want to know in Ket, maybe if I'm going to meet my friends, we need to ask each other, hey, where are you? Where are you? And the way to do that is o bisingu. O bisingu. And o is you, and bising, where? And which makes me think that be must be some sort of interrogative particle or interrogative thing like English WH and what and where. But, you know, this is only my hypothesis, and sung must be some sort of locative, as we're going to see in the next card. So, you, where, are. Gu is you are. So you, where are. Where are you? And I want to say, oh, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. At kisingdu. At kisingdu. And so at is I. Remember ap, my. At kising. And ki must be in this place or in this thing. And sing is, of course, location, like it appears to be location, like we talked about earlier. And do, I am. So at kisingdu. Good, good, good. Or maybe if my friends say to me, hey, u bisingu, and maybe I'm at home, so I can say ap my, right? Ap kos. Ap kos. Kos is the birch bark tepee where the Ket have traditionally lived during the winter months, and during the summer they live on a houseboat. I don't know that word yet, but kos is birch bark tepee. Now, you're probably saying, well, Professor, what's up with this hacking noise that you're making at the beginning? Well, the Q in Ket is a uvular stop, or uvular affricate. It's a like a K, but all the way in the back of your mouth, and then just for good measure, you make a additional fricative H-y sort of sound, so it's and no, I don't need the Heimlich maneuver, I'm just speaking Ket, so and see, we have a kind of rising tone here. We're going to talk about tones later, but cross. When you see this, you should always rise a little and then So cross. Okay, good. And that's the word for birch bark teepee, or I suppose, if I'm pretending I'm here in my apartment, well, this is up close. Very good. So now we're going to move on to pet cultural terms, okay? And, very important in traditional cat culture is the chemin, or as they say, sening. And this is the generic word for shaman, but it also refers to a male shaman. A lady shaman is senam. And the sin is meaning shamanizing, or to shamanize. And as my professor of mine was saying, has roots, or has maybe cognate in Na-Dene languages. But you can ask him about that. The next word is also female, and it's, one more thing about this one, this do you see? This is feminine. So, for example, I believe by itself means mother. So, senam, maybe the shamanizing mother, is what this word truly means. The next word is alej, and the way we pronounce this L, we want to voice it at the beginning. In the intervocalic between the vowels L, we voice, but the end we don't. The word final L we don't voice, and it's not quite an L as we think of an L. It's a lateral alveolar fricative, I believe. A voiced and voiceless alveolar lateral alveolar fricative, and that's a linguist way of saying that we move our mouth like an L but make an H sound instead, and maybe plaster our tongue a little bit further up. So you should get something like alej if you try to say this word. And an alej is a female guardian spirit that the cat would make out of wood and keep him close at home. And so an alej is the guardian image that you have, and you need to treat it very well. And I believe it's the women who took care of it. You need to treat your alej very well, because sometimes, she will get angry at you like I believe my professor said, a cat, like a cat. So make sure to always take good care of your alej if you've ever got one. The next one is another kind of image, is the image of a dead ancestor in your family, and this is also very important to the ket people, or was historically. This is called dangos. And this is once again a ceremonial object that you keep in close. Very good. Alright, the last cultural term we're going to talk about is a unit of distance, and this is the distance that a ket family would cover in a day of nomadizing or traveling. And this is itang. And literally translated, this is day. Itang is drag, so the dragging of a day's drag is itang. So maybe if 500 years ago the ket would have said to each other, we're many itangs from the place where we're trying to get, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe there are many itangs from their course. Yeah, see, I'm learning already. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is seasons of the year. Alright, so the first season, and of course the all the seasons except winter are maybe a little short to the ket people because they live in Siberia, but anyway, the first season is spring, and that's this here is like an unrounded U, so try to smile as you make a U sound, and you'll be able to make this. The Koreans also, I believe, have it in their language, so maybe if you speak Korean, maybe you'll be good at ket. And that is the word for spring. The word for summer, the time when the mosquitoes are so thick around you that your reindeer herding neighbors won't go near you because, the reindeer will get killed, and you have to live in a houseboat out on the river because, the mosquitoes are so thick and on the land. You have to say, for summer, siege, siege, siege. Now remember this L we don't voice at the end of the word, so siege. Alright. And the next word is, of course, fall, and in Ket that is kogd, kogd, kogd. And remember our Q, which is actually a sort of hacking sound that would put the Germans and Dutch to shame. The final season, of course, is winter, unless there's some fifth season I haven't heard about. And in Ket, the word for winter is kurt, kurt, kurt. And this is similar to our unrounded U sound, but it's a little lower down in the mouth. So kurt, kurt. And this little W is like it's exactly what it looks like. It's a W sound, but very small. So kurt. Good, good, good. Alright, now the last two words I'm going to introduce in this lesson are words for directions. The Kets have two directions. They've got one word that refers to down toward the river or the fire. Interestingly enough, river and fire have the same directional route, and that goes back thousands of years, but to the river, to the fire, this is also down river. Let's see. Toward the river instead of away from the forest, and this word is yigd, 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 yigd. And this is, so once again, downhill or toward the river or toward the fire. Now the opposite of that is ara, ara, and that means up into the forest, up away from the river, upstream, or if you're cooking, maybe away from the fire. So we say ara, and this is a velar voiced fricative. So it's a r sound. Ara, ara. Okay, very good. Thank you so much for joining me. This is, as you maybe have seen, Ket is a very difficult language to pronounce, so we're going to talk about a little pronunciation next time, as well as learn some names for body parts like head, and some of the facial features. We also are going to, hopefully, in the future, we're even going to get into the syntax of this language a little bit, but that's way down the road. So I hope that you'll stick with us, and please have a wonderful evening. Once again, thanks for joining me.